Let's take a look at yesterday's action. Kind of an interesting day. Institutionals were doing their zero DTE slash futures, come in and hold it and press higher pretty much throughout the day. They hit it right out of the open, basically right after the open on one of the basic settings that we provide. We were long, had a couple ads, and you should have been done somewhere right up in here on a one and done day. I was working the overnight session a bit since I was up anyhow. So let's go take a quick look at that. Just after about 3:30 U.S. Central Time, Chicago time, coming into about 4 a.m., we did finally trigger a sell. It had been hanging in a kind of a narrow range. Had a pretty decent sell-off then, the overnight session into the pre-market. You can kind of see here the market was getting stabilized, and I'll use the term worked. So you can see there was, some absorption of selling going on leading up to 7:30 to then 8:30 U.S. session open. And there we go, right out of the open. And we basically had all pullbacks were contained or managed, whatever term you want to use, and higher. And you can kind of see there's a little game they'll play sometimes where they'll bust a prior pivot, suck in sellers, and then they'll ramp on them. And they were doing it in more of a low-key sense than they were, typically do midweek. So get the appearance of a breakdown, and then ramp right away. Come in. You can see we get big pronounced bar. They drove it down again, ramped it, and then it was pretty much, the opening range was so narrow that I'm sure participation was dropping off, and then they kind of had their own way. And any additional attempts at selling after another period of, they do these grinding kind of slow moves as they're working futures buying, zero DTE options buying, and then they buy baskets of stocks. And they do this stuff automated, and I'm talking mainly the investment bank side. All of this stuff is not hedge fund activity. And then you can see it was maintained. I call it pump and park. So they pumped it early, and then they parked it and put it up, at very high pricing levels going into the weekend. So anybody at all that was thinking of holding any shorts pretty much capitulated into the 3 o'clock U.S. Central Time ending of the U.S. cash session, the stock market, and then we have futures, continue to about 4 in the afternoon. So that was Friday, but you can see the iGRID on some of the basic settings we give to get started, up and running. And we're going to talk about settings, and we're going to talk about performance and the kind of performance that our group is having. But pretty easy day. You would have been one and done. Matter of fact, I was sitting in the office of the person that does our trade room yesterday. Wow, what a very impressive setup. Tons of computers, going down the rabbit holes of the iGRID optimization on a wide range of instruments and time frames, and we were kind of working on to make sure that the two new Renko bars that I build, I'm going to improve the current TZ Renko, change the name of it. I'm going to make sure that it has outputs for Bloodhound and Blackbird for the TZ Renko. I'm not sure what I'm going to name that yet. I'm going to make sure it has actual price outputs for both open and close. And then the current in-build grid Renko that we're going to use with our new Scalper. Let's take a look at the Scalper. So this Renko here that I'm building for the iGRID Strat Scalper, where we're going to start launching components next week already. That one I'm going to make sure we have outputs of open, the real open price, the real close price, and the real open high-low close. So the bar type will have those outputs that you can utilize in Bloodhound, Blackbird, or whatever other third-party tools you use, and so on. We want to make sure the Renkos that we're going to be using in-house with the iGRID program are giving accurate optimization and backtesting data. So we want to make sure they're clean and good to go for the long haul there. So anyhow, iGRID Strat Scalper components of it will finally be released last week. The programming side is concluding. The big thing I'll be working on in the early part of the next week is the new activation, deactivation process we're setting up to put all updates, all new tools going forward on I guess you call it an enhanced activation, deactivation process that we control in-house. We maintain the database and everything. We're not codependent on somebody else like a NinjaTrader vendor would be. Not that being a NinjaTrader vendor is bad. It's just I don't want to go that route. I'd rather have full control over that process. And I know somewhere in one of these pushes when I was in Ron's office, it was the one that he was running on that particular time frame and template. We're all closing out the trades for the win on the day at the daily profit objective. Another approach too is more of a symmetrical candlestick style for those of you that don't want to necessarily trade the flips and momentum. So that was the downside pre-market, overnight yesterday or the prior day and the overnight tried to push. We did have a lower pivot high and then a break. Had some pretty heavy selling. And then that was that area where you can see that there was starting to be active, I would call, management of price by institutional side to clean up the mess from the overnight session and start building into the U.S. session open. And the U.S. session open was right in this area. So, another way to trade then is any pullbacks to the line, the trend bias line, and lift with the dot are really good scalp areas. And here was a couple short opportunities. Took a while, but you finally got paid there. Beautiful late day. If you're still late day, we got to pull back to the line and lift. And that one had run. We had a small one here. That one would have got you a break even plus or maybe a stop out. That one, nice little hit, if for some reason you were still active way in the late part of the day. But plenty of opportunities there. And the scalper that we're building, that one will be basically one-off standalone trades. And I'm getting a lot of questions about that, so I'm going to touch upon that real quick. So anytime we get a pivot Renko in alignment with our trend bias, you'll have an entry at the close of the pivot Renko, a stop distance that you set, and we're adding something out of the gates that I wasn't going to do to revision 2, and I'm decided I'm going to put it in the strategy right away. I don't think it's going to add a whole lot of time, but if you trade in units of 2 or more, basically you can select a benchmark area where a portion of your trade will come out, and then you can let the rest run. So if you trade in units of 2, you could say, hey, when I'm, I have my stop 22 ticks from my entry, and when I'm 22 ticks in the money, take off one of my positions, one of my MNQs, let the other MNQ, and by the way, move my stop to break even plus a tick, and then we'll have a trail stop mechanism trail that final position. You could go units of 3, say, hey, when I get in the money, or when I get 21 ticks or 22 ticks in the money, whatever your benchmark is, your stop goes to break even plus. When I get to 24 ticks in the money or whatever you set, take one off. Now you have 2 running until active trail stop, it gets blipped out. So at least you can take some portion of your trade off quick and then let the rest run. Where that's nice is when you're working quick scalps in alignment with the trend as you're getting pivot Renkos, and these will be standalone one-off trades. So you're basically doing quick scalping in alignment with a trend, with about the best trend tool that you could ever find, the iGRID. The iGRID, there's nothing better for being accurate for picking trend direction and getting something dialed in to a particular instrument and time frame than the iGRID. Find something, and I'll match you up all day long and see who's got the better market timing tool. You get in, you get your distance, you get a portion of your trade out, the rest runs. You get in, get your distance, stop goes to break even, one comes off, pulls back, probably blips you out at the break even plus on the rest, get in, get one off, the other two run, get in, you get to break even plus, get one out, pulls back. So as you're kind of in periods where it's oscillating a bit before the trend continues, you're not getting beat up, and at least you're making some profit if you can get to that first benchmark. So about the only trade in this whole run here, right here, you'd probably get in, you would come back, you have a stop right here. It never stopped you out, and then it triggered a second signal. Well, it wouldn't take that because you're already in trade right here that's active, and eventually it gets you, stop goes to break even plus, one of your contracts comes out and the other two run. So the beauty about this is it'll have a very stable equity curve, which means you can trade size on this, and that's a really good mechanism to use for your eval accounts. And then all the portfolio mix training that Ron has been doing in our training room, in the trade room, and we're going to really build upon that. We had a lot of discussions about that to make sure you guys understand the power of running a portfolio on some very stable approaches and settings to trading for your eval or for your live, especially for your live accounts, to just go grind out and get in and out of the market quick every day with a portfolio of instruments where you only need one of them to make a move to get you done for the day, as long as the other ones, are holding their own. So you might have a little gain in one, down a little in another instrument, but instrument 3 and 4 run, or one of the instruments gets a big run. Maybe indices is choppy, but you're also in gold. Gold makes a run, or maybe you're in oil and gold. And playing with small position size, so you never have a potential for a lot of max excursion against you, and get to your daily profit objective without just being reliant on just trading one instrument every day. So, you can add that to the mix. We're going to really continue to entertain and showcase that style of trading. And that's a beautiful way to trade in your, in your own personal accounts too. So we're going to keep showing you more settings and ways of doing that in the trade room. But yeah, these will be standoff one-alone trades, and you guys can have at it. You can trade then when you go live, you can have this running on the MNQ this way, and your favorite iGRID setting where you're getting in flips and adds on the same instrument set, for a different time frame or bar type that optimizes best for that approach. And you can have a mix of the two to go after your daily profit objective each day. So yeah, we're going to continue to really advance the program into one-off, instrument trading to also portfolio trading. It's just a really smart way to work evals and your live accounts. I really appreciate all the sharing you guys are doing in the trade examples room and showing what you're doing throughout the day. Continuing to share not only our settings provided, but those that the rest of you are sharing to the group. Like I keep saying, to have about a 1.8 average trades a day over the course of a month or so, where it's getting you to your daily profit objective. Anything under 2 trades a day average, you start getting in the 1.8s or even lower, you're doing phenomenal. That way you minimize your exposure not only to the prop firm rules, but to the market itself. Get in, get your hits, get out on your eval and your live accounts. And then make your money by having a lot of accounts, doing it the way we show with trade copiers, and what type of account to have as the master account or the leader account, and what type of accounts to use for your follower accounts. But the ongoing sharing and showing, with the group what you're doing, how you're working your trades, the amount of sharing has been exceptional. I really appreciate it, guys. And the iGRID strat worth the investment? Yes. Talking about, all the rhythmic issues, everything everybody had to go through, NT8 locking up and so on, and boom, very solid results. There's another one, just past 12 accounts. Thank Christopher and everybody for sharing the templates. Yeah, it's been others sharing more. I just keep working on building the tools. Well, there's our moderators and our Ron in the trade room, everybody and other traders sharing. It's paying off for everybody. And hey, we're just getting warmed up. Love those equity curves, guys. If you have any questions, info@gridalgo.com. Have a great week.